Now, what I notice when I'm working with this is that I have a suspicion of people who can't be selfish. Something just feels off about it. I'm a little bit of a girl. When a girl meets a guy who's too nice, it comes across as like creepy, as suspicious. No guy is this nice. Almost every guy, if I'm a beautiful girl, almost every guy on some level knows that I'm beautiful and has a set of instincts that are saying to him in his emotions, in his body, that he wants you. And if the guy shows up and he's being all nice and pretending that that's not really on the table at all and he's not thinking in this way at all, the girl will feel suspicious. She'll sort of say there's something wrong here, because no man is separate from his instincts that much. There might be the rare few Buddhist priests who give off this aura of incredible selflessness, or the true Christian missionary who really has surrendered himself to the love of Christ and God, that maybe will give off this energy where they genuinely don't have the problems of their instincts oscillating through them. But for the average person, for the vast majority of men, the girl will sort of be saying, right, this guy, he's feeling the tingles, he's feeling the urges, I know well, and I can see it in his eyes, but his words are coming across different. He's pretending that those instincts and those emotions aren't there. And I feel that as well. I feel a sort of suspicion about people who cannot be selfish, people who lead with too much selflessness and compassion and niceness and caring about others at the expense of themselves, that gives off a problematic vibe for some reason. Now, I think the reason why this is because when you see people who are selfish, people who are very straightforward in what they want, very straightforward in their desires, very, very honest and transparent with what's driving them, with the emotions oscillating through their body, it's very charismatic when you see this. And it's quite a strange problem, because we sit around and be like, why does everybody like the selfish guy? Why, that guy's just out for himself. Why does everybody find him so charismatic? I think it's because we recognize in him a transparency and an honesty, and we actually understand a sincerity, and we, in some sense, admire his bravery to be able to represent his desires so straightforward and so clearly, because it's actually hard to stand for what you want. It's really, really difficult to do that. So when you meet someone who's like, I want this is what I want, and I'm a guy who goes for what I want, and that's a very strong and powerful feeling to be around. But when you find people who are selfless and they don't go for what they want and they go for something else or something like this, it clicks with your head. There's something a little bit off about it. And I think it's because what the selfish person represents, what the guy who goes for what he wants represents, is someone who's representing his instincts. He's transparent. He's sincerely operating as the vessel, the tool for his instincts to achieve what he wants to achieve. Now, I would say in a foundational level that then the person who is too selfless or inauthentically selfless is someone who is representing not what his instincts want, but representing what his abstract nogginist morality wants, what he had been maybe taught when he was younger, what the sort of shame and conceptual worldview has been put inside of his head, and of course the challenge and the problem he's having inside of his mind of dealing with this bad conscience to be better and be good and be all these type of things. Now, what's interesting about this is that, of course, we would all suggest that being nice and being good and being moral in a conceptual way is nice and good and moral and all these type of things. But is it really that good? Is it really that good if it's in denial of what you are, of what your instincts are, of what your body is, the creation of the animating energy inside of you? Is it really that good to be moral and be good if it's denying what nature has made you, what God, because God didn't make mistakes, did he? When God built you in that body of yours and he asked nature to fill you full of the animating energies that move you around, he's hardly said, whoops, sorry about that. Jesus, I kind of blundered there a little bit, made every single one of them have a set of instincts and desires that drive them towards certain things, and it was actually a mistake. I actually said, fuck, so what I got to do is get them to deny all those instincts and break them and go against them and fix that problem. What silly old me. God, I should play Sims a bit more to kind of build up this ability of world building, because I'm not really doing a great job with this. First try and I've already fucked it up. Well, I guess onto a new reality, I'll try something else. These poor guys are just going to have to play out this video game to see it through to the end. I don't think he's like that. I don't think God is out there. I don't think the Lord is out there making all these blunderous mistakes in this type of way. The way you've been designed is that you've got these animating instincts that drive you towards specific goals, and in some sense they are what you are. Now, this is where I see, for example, Jung and Nietzsche becoming extremely relevant to help us understand ourselves in the modern context, because we can't really graph old ideologies over the modern context and really make sense of it. To understand what instincts are, we fundamentally are our instincts. In fact, you could understand the instincts as the animating energies inside your body that get you to do things. When you're walking down the street and you see a girl, your animating instincts will fill you full of cortisol or adrenaline or whatever it is to make you feel all these feelings of desire towards the girl. Or you're walking down and you see a big beautiful meal, you're going to get all these feelings of I don't know what the hormones are called, I think it's lectin or something like this, that makes you feel desire and hunger towards that food. When you see things that you want, see things that your instincts and nature understands as valuable towards the advancement of your body and advancement of your form, you're going to feel emotions that push you towards this. And so what your soul is, what actually your psyche is, and remember, your anima means soul. What your psyche is a collection of things that animate you to make decisions and choices and act in the world. That your motivations, the things that drive you towards your purpose, drive you towards your goals, and drive you towards all these type of things. The anima, the animating instincts that drive you are the instincts. The animating things that drive you are the instincts. And in some sense, you can understand Jung's proposition of the individuation process is suggesting this for you as well. For example, he says that your first problem will be you'll have an ego, and there'll be the opposite of this ego, this shadow. And when you really overcome that properly, you will dive down deeper and find out that the shadow is not really exant, it's like a fog. But when you go down really to the very, very bottom of what you are, you'll see that the real thing that's pulling the strings underneath you is the animated power of your soul, the animated instincts, the anima inside of you, your soul, the drives inside of you. And your great challenge is to build a relationship with that and understand how that is pushing you around. And if you don't develop this, you can't have things like personality, you can't have things like a holistic way of seeing things, and you're always going to be perpetually in struggle with the higher the intellectual masturbatory problems up inside of your head. Without an instinctive embodied soul, you're not really a person at all. You're just a LARPer of a human, a nogginist, a jargonite, a information guy, a abortion of the modern regime and world. And so what we are is our instincts, and they give us personality. When we really connect with our instincts, they animate us and make us entertaining to be around. It makes us enjoyable to be around, because you see energy inside of people, and energy is always joyful to be around. To people, this is why the selfish person is often so charismatic, because it's joyful to be around someone who's going for what they want, who's honest about what they want, who's representing the instincts that animate us all in an unabashed and brave way that pulls us forward. Now, the problem is that you are a vessel for nature to overcome the tyranny of death. And when you go along with her struggles, when she's wired you with these millions of years of instincts and things like this, and when you go along with them, she will give you energy, because through you, she is operating and achieving her goal. And so she's filling you full of life force. And this gives you that type of charisma. Fundamentally, these instincts are self-interested. And the problem, the dichotomy with which I see in the nice guy with this very happy, good, selfless ego, and then this very, very negative, challenging, putting himself down, conscience, bad conscience, is that these things are only really created and exant because they don't have a grounding in this true instinctive way of operating. And the selfish person will probably have a bit of an ego and a bit of a bad conscience, but they wouldn't be near as strong, nor near as distorted, nor near as extreme, because they've got a sort of force, a soul that holds them down and makes them understand what they are.